It's over 20 years since Big Break was on our TV screens. Is it time the show made a comeback? And would it be a fitting tribute to the late John Virgo? We're here in Sheffield, the home of snooker, to ask the players what they think.
Do you know what? It would be up there in the top 2 or 3 possible tributes to JV, wouldn't it? I mean, Big Break was just part of all our childhoods. It was certainly, I'm not sure how old you are, but it was certainly part of my childhood. Yeah. It was an iconic show back in the day, so with snooker sort of getting back on the map now and being as big as it's ever been, I think it would be good.
Oh, absolutely. Not just for John, but for the sport. But yeah, right now it's obviously very convenient to do it for John, but I think it'll be great for helping grow the game.
Yeah, it'd be an unbelievable fitting tribute. It was fantastic on that show. I used to watch it religiously every week. Took part in a junior Big Break as well, so yeah, he was very kind to me then. So yeah, bring it back. It was a very, very popular show.
Yeah, of course it would be. Yeah, it would be brilliant if it was back on BBC TV or any channel. Really, yeah, it would be.
Absolutely. That was one of the reasons why I got into snooker. My Saturday night was spent in front of the television, watching the legend that is John Virgo.
Who would you have in the John Virgo role? Who knows? It would have to be one of the great champions like Steve Davidson.
He can do a trick shot or two, can't he?
Yeah, he could do.
I was actually in conversation many years ago with the creator of Big Break, who put me forward as he wanted me to be one of the hosts. I was absolutely delighted to be included in the conversation. Not sure where that conversation went, but it's not on the screens yet. I mean, if it were to come back and they came calling, I'm in.
I think someone who would be very good at it would be Ken Doherty. I know that he's very fun on exhibition nights. He'd probably be good at trick shots and stuff, and he's got a good sort of way with people. He's got good conversation, good jokes, and I think he'd be a lot of fun.
I think Steve Davis might be a good person because he's very good in exhibitions and he tells good stories, and I think he's pretty good at trick shots as well. So I think he could be the ideal candidate.
He probably wouldn't want to do it, but Steve Davis is amazing at doing like trick shots and things like that. Dennis Taylor as well, I think would be a good one.
I know Dennis Taylor's pretty good at his trick shots, but nobody will ever do it like JV. I think, the patter that JV had as well, his interaction, with the players and the fans, and, his different sort of interpretations of players' cue actions and mannerisms was iconic. Maybe someone like Dennis Taylor or even Cliff Thorburn, very good.
I remember when I was chatting about this recently enough, somebody said they thought I should, be on it, and they threw Paddy McGuinness's name in there as well, because, there was a time where you couldn't turn the telly on without seeing Paddy McGuinness on, wasn't there? So yeah, I think Paddy McGuinness or Vernon Kay or somebody like that. But listen, if I get asked, I'm doing it.
Bring back Jim. Bring out Jim Davidson. Why not? Why not? Yeah. He was the original. Have him back.
He was. He always asked the contestants they snookered when they didn't know the answer to a question, but they never said snookered.
Never said it. No. I don't, God knows, brain freeze or something. I don't know really, but yeah.
It always bothered me that.
Yeah, Jim Davidson and the Nugget. That's all right. Yeah, it's a good combo.
Right, who would be the next Jim Davidson? They wouldn't let him on TV anymore, I don't think.
A comedian.
Yeah.
Get Kevin Bridges on there.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Paddy McGuinness or something like that. I don't know if he's attached to snooker in any way, but I think he's quite good. But yeah, that'll be good fun.
I don't know. Rob Walker's pretty enthusiastic, isn't he, about his snooker? So.
Maybe someone like Andy Goldstein.
Okay.
Big snooker fan, can play himself, and very quirky, very funny, very modern.
And maybe a Paddy McGuinness or someone to host it, and then probably an ex-snooker player at the table.
Yeah.
I can just remember the one time I was on the Christmas special edition. I think I just won the world title, and my partner was the great Barbara Windsor. She was dressed up as Betty Boo. You'll get it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think I was dressed up as Noddy or something. And it's amazing. It's amazing what YouTube can do, because I've showed my kids it. Incredible.
I only ever played in it, I think twice. Yeah, my boy started watching on TV as well now.
Yeah.
The old reruns, yeah.
Can you remember getting to Pocket Money or anything like that?
No, I seen a clip on social media where I'd done one, and me and Virgo was running around the table. He was picking the balls up, but I might be the only time I played it. Not sure.
I think I got down to the final game, but I can't remember how I did. I think I've done okay, you know, but it was good fun, I remember.
I went on junior big break. That was a little spin-off they did, and I remember I had to dress up as JV. The makeup department stuck an old beard on me, and I had to walk out, pretend to be a pot as many balls. I was only 11 or 12 or whatever I was. In the rehearsals, I won it. I remember winning the whole thing. Got the star prize and all the rest of it. Of course, it was the rehearsal. And when it came to it, we had the live audience in. I'd never seen an audience that big at the stadium. There was 200, 300, 400 people in there. Big studio down at Television Centre, which I think's flats now. We were there, doing it there, won the rehearsal, went out for the reel, then they go, the lights come down, the suit comes on. I scored 2 on the pot as many balls as you can, got dumped out first round. Of course, then I was in the green room where all the sandwiches were, so I was delighted with myself.
Did you watch it as a kid?
Yes, absolutely. Glued to it every week.
And did that inspire? Was that part of the reason you got into it, just to see the players, get to know their personalities?
Yeah, I love the sport anyway, but that opened up other avenues. Mainstream. Watching it there Saturday evenings. It was always a lot of fun.
I was on the junior version. Yeah.
How did you get on?
I was on it twice. I think the first time I got through to the final. The second time I think I got blown out first round. So. I was on it one show with Shaun Murphy, and there was an Irish guy called Robert Redmond, who I managed to see a few years ago, actually, when we was out in Ireland. I sort of recognised him, and we caught up on it. It was good.
Do you think it's the sort of thing snooker needs to inspire the generation, so we can see players' characters?
I think that myth of there not being any characters in the game, it really grates on the professionals today, because obviously I know what goes on off stage. There are more characters today than there's ever been. Back in the day when there were the characters, people talk about characters. What they mean is Alex Higgins peeing in a flower pot. That's what they mean. No one wants to see that. Back in the day, the characters were there because they had to sell themselves to do exhibitions, because there wasn't the money on tour to compete for. It's gone the other way now. Most of the players don't do exhibitions because there's so much to earn on the table. So it is very serious. I think people forget this is our job. This is our livelihood. So we do take it seriously. We do try our best. But if you get a ticket and come to any of our shows where it's not about competition, then you'll see the characters come out.
As the game's grown and money's went up and up, it's probably became more serious. But I think there's a lot more characters in the game than what people would have you believe. It's just trying to get them in the right setting to bring that out.
As you say, there is still characters in the game. They don't probably express it as much as what they did do back in the day, but the standard of snooker now is so tough that I think a lot of the players probably feel as though they need to sort of switch on and focus a bit more, and just try and focus to feel like that's the only way they can win their games, where if they laugh and joke, they've sort of got no chance of winning. But for sure, there's still characters in the game. If you go around the tour and follow the tour for a year, you'd find that out.
Yeah, no, because obviously every time you see us, we've got our game faces on and pretty serious. But there's so many characters around the game. If people see behind the scenes, and things like the laughs we have, we're all a bit crazy. I think the game sent us crazy over the years, so we're not as serious as what it looks like on TV.
Big break, it's light-hearted, it's quick fire, there's questions in between, there's lots of interaction, so it's ideal to get the players' personalities across. Like I say, for me, it would work perfectly for my personality. I would love to get involved more, and I'd definitely see a place for it on our TV screens again.
I think so, because it was especially with Jim Davidson hosting it, it was like a comedy as well, but it was good, yeah.
All sports around the world have become a lot more professional, so you probably don't see, players' personalities and characters come out as much in serious moments as probably, what they used to, especially in snooker in the 80s and stuff like that. Because the players back then talked about when, Terry and Dennis Taylor, that was them kind of showing what kind of personality they were, so then they'll get booked in to do exhibitions. Whereas now, players don't really, need to do exhibitions as such. But I've done exhibitions over the last couple of years. People come up to me and go, "Oh, you're actually a really nice guy. You're actually good fun." I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course. What do you expect me to do? Do cartwheels around the table when I'm competing at the Crucible? It's just different. We're in competitive mode, so you don't really get to see that side of us."
100%. Yeah, 100%. From what I remember, I remember they did a load of bulk recordings. So I think it was all done and dusted in a few weeks. It wasn't every week.
I can only speak for myself. I'd love to be part of it. I think it's great part of the tradition of the sport. It helped grow the game so much. So yeah, I'd love to be involved, and I'm sure a lot of players would too.
Yeah, might have to tweak the calendar a little bit to create space, I suppose. But yeah, anything like that, you know, to especially if it's like a prime time TV show or something like that. I don't know what they'll do, but yeah, I'm sure we could accommodate it somehow.
I don't know so much because obviously we play a lot around the world, playing big events, so it'd probably be more difficult to actually schedule in players to appear on it if it did ever come back.
Yeah. You know, it's not going to take long, is it? It's over and, you know, done and dusted within one night. And also, I think it's so good to give back to the crowd, to the public, to the fans. So to win awesome prizes and stuff like that would be an added bonus.
So there you have it. We've heard from the players here in Sheffield at the Crucible. But what do you think? Do you think we should see Big Break back on the screen? Let us know in the comments below.